Good morning, guys, and it's Tuesday morning. I'm here in Second Corinthians chapter 4 at a verse that's come to be one of my favorite verses, although originally it was not. So here we are, verse number 8. It says, "We are pressed on every side by troubles, but we are not crushed. We are perplexed, but not driven to despair. We are hunted down, but never abandoned by God. We get knocked down, but we are not destroyed. Though suffering, our bodies continue to share in the death of Jesus, so that the life of Jesus may also be seen in our bodies." One of the reasons why this was not particularly my favorite verse, some people be like, "Yeah, we crushed down, but yeah, we not crushed, we pressed down, and yeah, all these things happen, but we all right." One of the things I saw immediately is like, hey, that means I'm going to have to be pressed, on every side by troubles. I'm going to have to be perplexed. I'm going to have things in my life happen that just really, huh? What is going on, This is not what God said, and it even says that we're going to be hunted down. There's sometimes when people are going to deliberately seek you out in order to do evil to you, in order to be mean to you. But it says we are never abandoned by God. We get knocked down. That means that sometimes some things gonna really, just bowl me over. But it says we are not destroyed. And through the suffering in our bodies, the life of Christ is also revealed in our bodies. I've come to realize, even though it was not what, we like to think, is that a lot of times the negative things, those hardships, those troubles, those trying situations are the things that really and truly help me to grow. As a child, like for instance, as a child, you see your parents doing everything, and you're like, oh, I just want to be an adult, and your parents are like, don't rush it. You know, it's not just easy being an adult. I want to be an adult. I want to make my own decisions. I want to live where I want to live. I want to be able to go where I want to go, and I don't have to ask my parents permission and all of that. But then I got to adulthood, and I'm now living on my own. And then I realized, but this includes bills to be paid. This includes that if I mismanage my funds, I'm wondering like, how am I going to survive? This includes me having to trust God on a whole different level, because things will come up, You plan out your budget and then you get sick and you have to spend some of this money in a hospital that you didn't bargain for, and then you have to now be sitting there and be like, Lord, you got to help me through this. But because of those times, it taught me that I can trust God, that I don't have to be dependent on my parents or my mother trusting God for things to work out. I am now the one trusting God. And so it's teaching me through these sufferings and through these hardships that the glory of God, I can experience it for myself. I can see Him come through on my behalf. I can see myself being knocked down, and the hand of God is there picking me up. And so in reality, it is these hardships that sometimes bring out the best in us. And I get to see that even though troubles may come, trials may come, my faith remains strong. It helps to build my faith. I got to decide, am I going to believe God, or am I going to give up my dreams and give up my hopes? And I get to realize through the little things that He takes us through, one time at a time, one day at a time, 1 month at a time, one trial at a time, we get to realize that, hey, you know what? God is proving Himself, and I no longer have to listen to what my mother said. God came through, and my neighbor and my pastor and my preacher. I get to say, God did it for me. All right, so that's the beauty about this verse, that all these things may happen, but we're never abandoned by God throughout it. He's the one who leads us on and shows us His awesome power and grace in our lives. That's my reminder to you today. Have a wonderful day. Remember, God loves you, and I do too. Be blessed.